Hello there and welcome back to the Zero Credentials F1 podcast. We are here, Nelly, today to discuss, is Max Verstappen going to win the Formula One Championship? He's on the comeback trail in Mexico. Loads to talk about. The Ferrari resurgence, a McLaren bottling maybe happening. Loads to talk about. So let's roll the credits and get into it. Mate, there's some big news this week. Very big news. And that is, firstly, that we are nearly at 100 subscribers on the Zero Credentials F1 YouTube channel.
Can you imagine like the props of being the guy who actually got that 100th spot as well? I mean, people, the prestige.
Can you imagine watching this now and you're not subscribed?
You want to be such a loser. I would drop everything. I would pause this right now and immediately dive over to the subscription button.
And do yourself a favour and hit that subscription bell as well, the notification bell.
Yeah, do that.
And because I think what I think is that I will remember our first 1,000 subscribers forever. I'll be so grateful to those people, and it will mean something deep and true down inside.
They were on at the front end, and everyone after that is just obviously a glory supporter. Some sort of clinger on after 1,000. Yeah, they're just sheep. They followed the crowd.
We'll when we get to 1,000, we'll pretend we care about the people after 1,000, but really we'll only care about those 1,000.
I will exclusively care for the first time.
Yeah. So hit the subscribe button, and we'll bring you some. We'll be your F1 race weekend companions. Right, mate. Let's kill the music. Let's kill the music.
Let's do it.
And talk about Max a little bit again, because he took up a lot of our show last time out after the US Grand Prix, but
deservedly so.
Do you think he's going to win? Not just this race, but the championship. He's still 40 points off.
He can do it. If anyone can do it, it's Max Verstappen. He can absolutely do it.
Because I think the McLaren top brass are starting to get squeaky bums. Yeah. They're nervous.
See, the consequences and repercussions that they were talking about before may be completely out of their hands. The consequences are Max picking up the mistakes that they're making between themselves. I think he can do it. I had a sneaky look before this today on the bookmakers odds for Max to win the title now.
What are they telling us?
And they are telling us that he's very, very, very doable. He's the favourite for this weekend, and as far as I can make out, he's the favourite for the remaining races. He gives himself 50-50, but he was giving himself 50-50 chance weeks ago when we still thought it was a joke.
Do you ever watch
the catch up?
Do you ever watch the cricket? And where they've got like this pie chart basically of like a percentage of who's going to win. As each ball goes and as each over goes, this thing swings either way about who's going to win. And I feel like it's just the momentum suddenly shifted in Max's direction.
Yeah, and it's like that. Go on,
here you go.
No, it's like that F1 graphic. You know, it says, well, you see the arrows coming in of the time between them, and we'll catch in 3 laps. We'll catch in 2 laps. It's absolutely nailed on for it's the season version of that. We'll catch in 2 races. We'll catch in 3 races, and he can absolutely do it. I mean, I think something has to go pretty wrong for McLaren. I think they can still afford to be within the top 5 when he's around because of and that'll keep it tight to the end, but they can still afford, for as long as both of them are in the top 5, to still narrow that gap and probably sneak it. And Max isn't minded to have a great race. I mean, this time last year he was leading at one point and nearly didn't score at all, but at the end of it with 2 10-second penalties.
Yeah, I was watching last year's race and I've got a feeling even last year he was potentially the fastest man on that track.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
But he ended up finishing 6th or 7th or something
Yeah.
because of his naughty boy behaviour in pushing Lando off the track a couple of times. I think
And not giving it back, just not giving it
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean, last year at Mexico was peak Max naughtiness, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
But so he fell back, got a 20-second penalty.
Well, two tens.
Two lots of 10,
tens.
and served his 20-second penalty in the pits, and then still made up time.
Yeah. I mean, to score at all in those circumstances was quite.
But even
incredible.
before that, his battle last year. He didn't care about the Ferraris. They both went past him, and he didn't give a shit, did he?
Yeah.
He was going hell for leather at Lando.
Yeah.
Because that was his rival last year.
Yeah.
He didn't care that the Ferraris got in front of him. This year, he needs to win, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He can't afford anything lower than a third for the rest of the season now. He just can't afford it, and he really needs to be win the lot to do it. But that's doable. That's doable from Max Verstappen. That's who we're talking about here. But things will get in the way. He might get a little bit of a sanction. They might have a little bit of a nudge and a knock with others, as we discussed last time.
Got the soda stream again.
Oh, getting busy with a fizzy. Ooh. We also have an ASMR channel now. It's mostly just wheel guns in Formula One. It's not very soothing at all.
No.
But
it's dynamic and high energy, isn't it? It's you're not falling asleep. I think it's one of the exciting things about this weekend and probably every race coming up towards the end of the season is there's now very clearly 3 people in contention for the championship, and that narrative I think is going to shift every single race and as every single point goes by. So like we might get through the Mexico Grand Prix going down to Brazil in an almost completely different scenario. Or we're going to be even more talking about, like, Max is definitely going to win. He's going to be the clear favourite going to Brazil. Yeah. And McLaren are kind of almost doing a Ferrari of being self-destructive. But it's at the same time, I think we should talk about it as well, that there's a Ferrari resurgence happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Lewis had a fantastic outing last time, and Charles maybe threw the dice or some decent team tactics, but I suspect it's the former. Yeah, they're going for it. I mean, we're getting to that nice stage now. 5 races left, including Mexico. Nobody's nursing engines anymore, and there's a big dose of let's fuck around and find out. Let's see what we can do, because they're not playing the long game anymore. It's all or nothing in the last 5 races.
I think that's the problem for McLaren, though.
Yeah,
is that Ferrari and Max at this point have absolutely nothing to lose, really. So Ferrari can go straight at McLaren because they're looking to beat Mercedes, aren't they? Antonelli's just not there, so really at the moment, but both Ferraris are scoring big points now, and if Mexico seems to sort of suit them, they could score big points again this weekend, and that's going to probably be at the cost of, like it was last weekend, of McLaren, and they need all the points they can get. So it's quite exciting, is that Max is obviously pushing for the Drivers' Championship, and he may strangely get a hand from Ferrari.
It's
kind of
and
Carlos, Mercedes potentially.
Well, this is it, because they're going to be in the mix somewhere. You can't write them off, and it's an odd one. I always Carlos won last year, so the Ferrari clearly likes this circuit and feels that it has a setup for it. Mexico, I believe, is one of the high altitude, low air density sites as well. So they put on massive scoops of wings, but they get sort of Monza level downforce as a consequence of it, because it's quite thin. But it's also heating and cooling, and with the heating and cooling, I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing for Mercedes, because we know they're very temperature sensitive. Don't know, it could be an absolutely great thing for them. But yeah, I mean, Max is obviously quite a strong favourite here. But I always think, or I always get more excited, I think it's easier when you're pursuing and you've got a chance, and rather than trying to protect what you've got for McLaren being ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I want to be the hunter rather than hunted. Do you know what I mean?
In the final few races, I want to be the hunter.
Yeah,
because it gets in people's heads, and you start making a mistake, and like people would accept if Max didn't win this season because of and he can win it, and it'd be the miracle at Medina, wouldn't it? To come, what a comeback! It would be the best comeback of all time, but people still statistically don't expect him to do so. So in doing that, or in having that prospect, the pressure is all on McLaren. They are expected to win, and they've been expected to win this season from the first 5 races of the season.
I think what's backfired on McLaren is that their insistence on having equal standing for the drivers is now causing them a problem. It caused them a problem last year, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's starting to cause them a problem again, is that they have 2 number 1 drivers and they don't know where to put their energy. And they're just going to they're both going to sort of fade into insignificance as Max comes tearing through the middle. And he's absolutely loving the fact that there isn't a number 1 drive, a number 1 and a number 2, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's benefiting from that week after week.
Because he can pick them both off. He doesn't have to just concentrate on one person. He can just go for both of them. But I suspect that papaya rules could get messy in races like this, because I suspect you're right. I think it's a headache for them that their 2 guys could be knocking lumps out of each other and jeopardising one or each other's title chances. So I think if they get anywhere near each other, they may end up having offset or imperfect pitting strategies, because they'll just, they're coming up on one another, let's pit one of them just to get them out of the way, let's make some space for one of them. And I think they'll start not optimising their races as a consequence just by trying to keep them away from each other.
I mean, I think the same thing is going to apply that happened in the US. I suspect it will be a one-stop strategy. It is a track where a 2-stop has occasionally worked before, but I think it'll be a straight-up one-stop strategy. And I think qualifying is going to be hugely important. Turn 1's going to be hugely important, and it's a long run down to turn 1 as well, isn't it? So that it was exciting last year. There was a crash, and then Lewis made some moves in the first lap last year, and obviously Lando and Max were fighting. But I just think everything in that first lap, there's everything to play for. Assuming that like your sort of normal top 6 or 7 are going to be in the top 6 or 7, they're going to be jostling, aren't they? Basically everybody wants to win. It's not like last year where Max could just let the Ferraris go.
Yeah.
That can't happen this year. It's gonna have to be everybody going for the win, isn't it?
And the top 6 have all got something to race for, whether it's team credentials or anything else, but or actual title prospects. But I think I agree. I think there'll be a turn 1 incident, because that run is so long that you can easily imagine him getting at least 2 or 3 abreast, hitting that first corner, and somebody's brakes and tyres aren't going to be completely up there, because Martin Brundle was complaining a little bit at the start of the last race that it took ages for the back of the pack to actually form the grid, and those at the front were sat 30-40 seconds on formation. So
which is also that's also really benefiting Charles Leclerc, isn't it, on the soft tyres, because you want obviously a little bit more heat in the slightly harder tyres. So when he's sat there for that amount of time on those soft tyres, that really benefited him, I think. I feel like we didn't quite give Charles enough credit in the last show.
But that's probably fair.
He, I mean, I've been critical of him personally over the last couple of years. But he did, I mean, there's no doubt he did a fantastic job. I think you did say that he got those soft tyres a very long way into that race.
Yeah, he did.
And I actually don't think my predictions match what I'm about to say this week, but I think there's a good chance he's going to go pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised to see both Ferraris in the top 5 again, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the unknown quantity a little bit for me is Mercedes, but I've always got time for George, and I think he could. I mean, historically, Mercedes is like this track.
We've had some criticism as well. I don't know if you've seen it in the comments for having a British bias.
Oh no, us
and and basically, sorry, not sorry. Like that's gonna continue. If that's a deal breaker for you.
well, as far as I can make out as well, these criticisms that we've got British bias are coming from countrymen of other nations who are supporting their guy. So, I mean, yeah, we're only doing what they're doing.
I think if we'd started this show a few years ago, we would have been annoying Dutch people left, right, and centre. But we've done nothing but shower praise on Max Verstappen on this YouTube channel and podcast so far.
It's begrudging respect, but you can't not respect him. He's fantastic.
I think I'm excited about. I think Lewis Hamilton's coming back. I think something's happening because he had a shocking start in the US and then got back into his same position after doing some wild overtakes around the outside, and I think he's getting things into position.
He's starting to get the measure of the car. I caught a bit of the radio traffic in USA, and frustratingly, Lewis was doing pretty well, but then he was told to lift and coast by the team. Potentially they were, I don't know what it was, but and obviously they start the race under fuel, but there was some suspicion that maybe they weren't quite confident on the wearing down of the board, the plank underneath, and so they wanted to just buy a bit of space in there because he was lifting and coasting into the corner. But so that's I think
their lifting and coasting isn't necessarily fuel, is it? Because I think they're having to do it for the plank and the brakes.
Yeah,
because I think, and that could definitely be an issue in Mexico, where that lack of airflow because it's at high altitude causes more heating, doesn't it?
But I think that belied his true form in Texas, and I think, as you say, I think there were certainly glimpses, especially with, I mean, some of the camera work in Texas is fantastic, especially when they're doing the very fast back and forth, twisting after the second or third corner when they're slowing down in those. I mean, it does show off a Formula One car to its absolute best. They look like they're on rails, and some of that, it felt like Lewis was throwing it around a little bit in a good way, and that actually had the confidence to sort of to hustle the vehicle a little bit. But but after he was told to lift and course, it potentially belied some of his true pace. But I agree with you. There are certainly signs that he's getting quite comfortable.
Shall we? I wanted to talk about the midfield a little bit because there's some interesting things happening with Williams and Aston Martin and RB and Sauber and stuff. So I wanted to come back to that. But should we have a look at our predictions chart, which has been running, I think, since Miami. Was Miami the first one we did? Anyway.
I scored all mine before Miami. That's a shame.
So in first place, we've got Whites with 24 points, who is our silent partner on this channel, if you don't know that. I'm in second place with 16, and then Nelly, you haven't scored a point in over 5 weeks, and you've only scored 1 point in the last 7 weeks. What are you up to?
I thought points were a bad thing. Have I got this wrong?
This is your week.
Your driving license, you didn't want points.
This is going to be your week. I can feel it. Something's going to happen.
Well, I've changed it. I've changed things so that.
So we'll start with Whites because he has gone into this super confident. I mentioned on the last show that there's going to be a trophy for the winner of this competition, and very quickly he seemed to assume that that's coming to him. So I hope he's not doing a McLaren there and getting a bit cocky a little bit too early.
As we said, I'd rather be the hunter than the hunted. I'm getting you both down. Yes, I don't think William Hill are going to give me the same odds as they're giving Max Verstappen at the minute, unfortunately.
So White's has basically gone for the same as he went in the US, which is Max on pole, Max for the win, Lando, Oscar, George, and Charles. So let me bring that up. There you go. White's has he's gone full Max again, basically. He's putting Lando over Oscar. The only thing where I think I might beat White's is because I'm a Lewis fanboy. I think Lewis's resurgence is going to be what gets me closer to White's.
But I think that sentiment is what's cost us both this season, because that's precisely the tactic that we've adopted.
Is that why we're
and
losing?
White's hasn't. Yeah, yeah. The White's is less time for Lewis Hamilton, I would say, even as a Brit. But yeah, I think that's what's hurt me real bad. It's all Lewis's fault.
Anyway, I'm going for a mixture of damage limitation here, and then trying to score a few extra points. I've gone Max on pole, Max for the win. I just can't see anything else happening this weekend. I think you'd have to be a bit of a weirdo to choose anything other than that.
Oh, I wonder what I've chosen.
I've then gone for Lewis. I think Lewis is going to have a big weekend, and I think he's going to be on the podium in third place. Then Oscar. I was very tempted to kick Oscar out of this and go for a wild card like Hulkenberg or Sainz or Albon or something. I'm playing safe now. I'm being conservative now because I'm worried about White's pulling further away. But then I've gone for George fifth. I'm not sure how well that Mercedes is going to go in the Mexican heat. So let me bring that up as well for the people on YouTube to see. If you're on the podcast, we appreciate you.
It's a nice mix. It's a nice mix. I like the way you give me thrown me a bit of a bone there by throwing Lewis in there. I mean, I'd like to see it, Adam, but I don't think that's coming our way. But indeed, yeah, Lando's still doing good. I do think that Oscar, the past couple of races, has had more of a blip than anything else. I still think that he's.
Do you think he's coming back?
Talented. Yeah, I think he's far too talented. He's too cool. He's had a software upgrade. He's oiled and polished all of his critical joints, and he's had a nice solder bath, and now he's ready to come back.
Go on then. Who are you going for this week?
Okay, so in a complete departure from everything else that I've done for the rest of the season, Lando pole and Lando win. But
I want you to be right. I want you to be right about that.
I want to be right, and I'll keep following through, because I think this is I think I've chosen these because I've adapted them slightly on the basis of how I want to see the season come to a crescendo. So I'm so far back that it's not going to make any difference. So I'm completely unapologetic with this. So Lando to have pole and win the race, Max to come second, which is a departure of me keeping Lando and Oscar ahead of one another. Then Oscar, because as I say, I think he's just at a bit of a blip. I think he's still good enough, and that car's still good enough to do some great things. Then George, because I just love seeing what that guy's doing at the minute.
Yeah,
and considering the points he's got for the team, he's done almost what Max has done for Red Bull and single-handedly dragged the team through in terms of points. And they're second in the constructors as it stands. Mercedes
are still, I think. Just.
Yeah. But that's impressive considering you've had two functional Ferraris in third. He's dragged them along.
I mean, at this rate, Red Bull are going to be second though. If Max, if Max keeps winning,
yeah.
Red Bull.
If I was Max, I would, and they did well in the constructors, I would have or come second. If there's such a thing as a second place trophy, if I was Max, I'd say no, that's my trophy. There's no team about it. Because you.
I wonder if that would deserve some extra cheddar cheese as well, wouldn't it?
He'll have commissions and paybacks and kickbacks and residuals on absolutely every scenario that he's got in his contract. And then only because of his performance and his hunger from last week, I think Charles to go fifth this week. And I'm liking I'm liking where he's going. But I don't disagree with you and Lewis. I'm trying to suppress my emotional mind on this, my emotional brain, and keep it balanced. But yeah, I've seen some signs over the past couple of races that I'm liking with Lewis.
So you've gone for Lando pole, Lando race, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, George Russell, and Charles Leclerc fifth. What's funny is they've been the top six in almost every race, haven't they? Bar a few sort of things like Sainz and Hülkenberg and Albon creeping in there now and again, which brings us on to talking about that midfield. I think they're a solid bunch of predictions. We'll see what happens after the race, but like I said, I wanted to have a wild card of one of the midfield teams getting in there.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting what they're doing. I mean, Sauber are looking stronger again, aren't they? Like Hülkenberg he recovered a bit after a bad qualifying for the race, but
he did extremely well
in the sprint race. He was right up there, and he's looking fast, isn't he? And Bortoletto wasn't too bad either.
Yeah, but it was more the gap he had on Bortoletto. I mean, Bortoletto did all right, but yeah, he was clearly a track that he absolutely loved. So yeah, I was pleased to see that. I really enjoyed that.
And Williams, I assume this track is kind of going to suit them. It's a slippery car, isn't it? So
yeah,
I'm assuming they're going to be right up there as well. I'd love to see Alex Albon come back a bit, because he scored the vast majority of Williams' points this year, but Sainz has just had a resurgence as well, hasn't he? And he won here last year, so he knows what he's doing around this track. I think Williams.
It feels like Alex has had a bit of bad luck recently, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was Sainz before that, wasn't it? I think Williams are going to be there and thereabouts this weekend.
I don't disagree. I'd be. I think it'd be difficult to see beyond at least one of the RBs doing well. I think Liam Lawson will probably do quite well as well. I really like the way that he's not just performed for the rest of this season, but he's clearly cleared his head from the indignity of actually leaving the Red Bull seat early in the season. And I'm so pleased to see that, because I think he's more than justified a drive for the future. And more importantly, it hasn't crushed him like it's crushed so many others in the past.
I mean, they're talking about Hadjar already going into the main team seat, aren't they? I just don't know where Yuki goes from there. How can you put? I don't understand how you can put Yuki back into that RB team. He's had his shot there for a while now. What's the plan moving forward if you put Yuki back in there, when sort of, like you said, the New Zealand lad, Liam Lawson, has got some momentum up now. Yeah. I think that's actually the case for a lot of these rookies.
Yeah.
Bortoletto's come good. Oliver Behrman's had some decent results. Liam Lawson's done all right. The Colapinto is obviously concerned because he's ignoring team orders, isn't he?
Yeah.
In the last race, which we didn't talk about, as he's been told to sit behind Gasly, and he just didn't.
Well, he got away with that a little bit because somebody was chasing them down. So actually, they got Gasly as well towards the end. Yeah, so there was a car between them. So I expected it to kick off after that, but somebody got in between them, luckily for him. So you had to say, well, obviously, we were just getting hunted down and Pierre couldn't do anything. But yeah, in terms of... It's really funny, but I think you can't go backwards in the sport to a lesser team unless you've achieved something. And by that, I mean...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Fonzie can go to a lower team and help them build because he's done something, he's achieved it.
Bottas.
Bottas can do that.
Perez.
Ricciardo to a degree, at least he had some race wins under his belt. But I think if you've not really won much or had championship credentials, then going backward is just an admission that you will never be world champion.
Yeah, because the ones coming back, like say Valtteri Bottas, for example, he's bringing a lot of value with him isn't he?
Yeah,
a lot of experience and a lot of value. What I don't really understand what the value proposition is for Yuki going back to RB.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, maybe Japanese yen.
But that is it. It's not going to make your car any faster. He's not going to say, I was able to get on top of the Red Bull. It was a tricky beast, but I tamed her. He can't say that. And I think, I think that's more of a trend now. I think you stop at the highest level that you reach. And if that isn't race wins or championships, your next step is leaving the sport.
I mean, I think for me, I reckon that Team RB should be forced to sell that to someone. I've had enough of Red Bull having two teams, basically, because it's warping things. It always has done a little bit.
Well, listen, when it was coming down to lapping, or at least getting in between the principal Red Bull team and competitors, they were always sandbagging, or they were making it more difficult for them to get by. Or if it was they were racing for position, they would just slow them down and force the gap, or let them get DRS, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's an unreasonable advantage. Red Bull have 4 cars working for them in terms of disrupting the rest of the field. And
I think it was Crofty earlier in the season was saying that F1 is not a proving ground, or something. I think it was Crofty saying that F1 is not a proving ground, but that's exactly what Team RB is.
Yeah,
it's a proving ground for the main team.
Yeah, but you can't tell me as well for their. I think there'll be a one-way data flow, but I think data will flow from the RB team to Red Bull in terms of things that they've found in the wind tunnel, or things that they've tried and experimented with that have failed. And I think there'll be many parts or concepts that were developed in the RB team that have been subsequently picked up by Red Bull, but I doubt much intelligence goes the other way.
I think it was allowed, wasn't it, in the past, because F1 wasn't quite as popular, and Red Bull were willing to come in and pay the money for 2 teams.
Yeah, at one point it was risking going down to 16 races on the track.
Yeah, whereas now, since Bernie sold up, it's gone nuts, hasn't it? They've broken America finally, and teams are desperate to come into F1. I just think it's time to maybe, I don't know how the contracts or anything work, but I'd love to see an independent, fresh team doing something.
Well, like factories. I mean, because eventually, when you get fresh teams as well, they always get gobbled up and turned into principal teams.
But equally, I don't want to see 3 VW teams under different brands of like Audi, Bugatti, however many fucking other things they've bought over the years. I don't want to see like 3 VW teams either.
What manufacturer brands would you love to see in F1?
I'd quite like BMW to come back. I'd love to.
Yeah, because they did engines for a while, didn't they? Even
I think they had a full team at one point, didn't they?
They did. But then they held on with engines. I mean, Honda obviously been big, but it was more the motorcycling background.
I mean, Ford making the Red Bull engine next year.
Yeah,
I think that's
I'd love some comedy ones like Saab. I know. I think that's part of VW.
Land Rover. Well, we did have a Jaguar team for a bit, didn't we?
F1 Kia.
Oh no!
It's coming. It's coming.
Not some Chinese, like some horrible Chinese
with a BYD engine
manufacturer.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Bring back the V10s. Right, I haven't got anything else.
No, I'm excited about this weekend.
Yeah.
We will report back early next week. I will be in sunnier climes with it being a.
Are you going remote, mate?
I'm going remote, so I apologise for the even shoddier, quality, the even shoddier conditions. But I'll be subject to a hotel Wi-Fi system.
Excellent. Oh well, hope you enjoy. I hope you can actually manage to see the race then. And yes, Exciting times, isn't it? Exciting times in the championship. I hope the race can live up to our desires this weekend.
It'll go to the end. That's my prediction. The only one that's worth a fuck at this moment, it will go to the last race of the season.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you early next week. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.
See you, everyone.